Welcome to Swords, Spears, and Arrows with Camille Babin, a podcast that features messages on spiritual formation, soul care, and a book club to help you win the battle within.
Hello and welcome to Swords, Spears, and Arrows. I'm your host, Camille Babin. I'm very excited about this week, but before we start, let me ask you this question. How often do you find yourself answering like this? No, I can't do this. No, I'm not ready. Or no, not me. Every time someone maybe walks up to you or you feel like God is asking you to do something, do you give that type of answer? Are you quick to say, oh no, not me? Oh no, I can't do this, Lord, I'm not ready. Oh Lord, you know this is not me. I don't do this kind of things. At least I know that was me. That was my answer. It used to be my answer almost all the time. Because every time the Lord will ask me something, to do something, and I'm not talking about giving or just following I don't want to say the basic commandments, but kind of that. I'm not asking about it. I'm asking about those things that we feel like are so outside of our comfort zone. I'm talking about the things that God asks us to do, like maybe talk to someone next to you and you're pretty shy and you're pretty introverted, just like myself, and you feel like, oh, no, I don't know what I'm going to tell them. I don't know what I'm going to say. Or even sometimes you feel like you have a word for them and you just don't know how to share it. Or maybe just volunteer for something and you're like, I don't sure I can do those things. I'm not saying that there are things that, we know how to do everything. And I'm not even talking about our own abilities or our skills or, our competencies. I'm talking about specifically when we feel like God is calling us forward, when God is calling us to do something just like he did with Jeremiah and Moses. These are the two examples for now that I have in mind. When God called Moses, the first thing that Moses said was, of course, after he had the experience with the burning bush and he found himself, in the presence of God. And God, he knew at that moment that God wanted to use him as the deliverer. He wanted to use him to save his people, to bring them out of bondage, the bondage that they were living under in Egypt, and take them out into a new land, into a promised land. The first answer also that Moses gave after asking, like, "Ooh, you send me to these people, but what am I going to tell them?" Basically, if they ask me about you, what am I supposed to say? What answer am I going to give them? And that's when the Lord told him what he was supposed to say. He said, just say, it's I am that I am. I am who sent you. And we see even along those lines later on when God was still having that conversation with Moses, Moses still answered, but I can't speak. And that's when he was asking even like for Aaron to go with him, because he said, I can't speak, Lord, I can't speak. And the same thing happened with Jeremiah. In Jeremiah chapter 1, when God asked Jeremiah, he called Jeremiah forward again, and he asked Jeremiah to, he told Jeremiah who he was, basically. He told him before, you will be a prophet to the nation. I'm sending you, I'm calling you. Or Jeremiah even knew he felt that call. The first answer was, but Lord, I don't know how to speak. I'm too young. And we can read that, and so did I. We can read all these words, all these, dialogues that they had with God and feel like, oh, that was them. That's what they said. Even with Gideon, was the same thing when the angel of the Lord appeared to him and he called him mighty man of valor. And Gideon didn't really know what to make up of that because he didn't see himself as such. He didn't even think that was the angel was addressing him. And I've wondered, as I was reading, I wondered, and the Lord really led me to think about those questions. How many times have we felt like God was pulling on us, was calling us forward, was asking us or wanting to do something with us or through us, and we answered, but God, I can't do that, or I don't know how to, or I'm to this and I'm to that. And that's really what we prompt to do. When God calls us forward, we always make a list of what we don't have or who we're not. The same thing, we always said, I can do this. Oh, I'm not good at it. I don't think, maybe ask someone else. But what I've realized is when God calls us, He doesn't call what we see. He calls what He sees. He calls what He knows He placed inside of us. So basically, when God calls us, He's not asking us to bring our best forward. He's not asking us to come and perform and even entertain. He's not asking us to do something outside of us. I think we have to really change our perspective. And it's all about that. I think every time all the message even that the Lord is speaking to us require from us to change our mind, to change the way we perceive it. We perceive even the word of God and even ourselves. And when he calls us, he wants us to, it's really to for us to understand that he's not asking us to do something for him in the sense that, we make something or we have to create something new or we have to get something or, like make ourselves do something that we're not supposed to do, or that in spite of our qualification or lack thereof, God calls us. And I believe that in this hour, when God is calling us, He doesn't expect us or He doesn't want us to give the same type of answer, because we've heard them over and over, and yet we've seen already how God used them. We've seen how God has used Jeremiah, someone who said he didn't know how to speak, but he was the one sent to his people to speak on behalf of God. Moses was sent to become a leader when he didn't even think that he had that ability. Gideon was used to destroy the altars in his father's house. And I can go on and on even throughout the New Testament. And we can find men and women just like us that didn't feel like they had it. They didn't feel like they could do it. But yet God called them. And we have to ask ourselves, what did God see in them, to decide to call them? And that's the same for us. What does God see in us that make him decide to call us forward? Because he doesn't call us because of what we know. He calls us so that he can reveal to us who we are. So when we hear the call of God, instead of taking it like, oh my God, it's such a big assignment, or it's such, it's not like a big quiz or a big request. It's more an opportunity for God to show us who we are. It's like he's calling us forward so he can tell us who we are. He can show us. It's just as if God wants to place a mirror before us and say, look, this is what I need you to see. This is what I need you to understand. I need you to see yourself the way I see you. I want to show you how I see you. I want to show you the things that I've placed inside of you. I want you to understand what they're there for, how I want to use them in this season. I'm basically calling out. I'm not just calling you. I'm calling the things that are inside of you. I'm calling them forward. I'm calling them up. I'm calling them out. These are the things that I'm calling. So I'm not calling you the way you know yourself. I'm calling you the way I want you to become, or the way I know that I made you. Because when he spoke to Jeremiah, and we like to quote this without understanding that it pertains to us as well. He told Jeremiah, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. And I love the amplified version that said, I knew you and approved of you as my chosen instrument. So all we need to know is that when God calls us, basically he's telling us, I'm choosing you. I'm choosing you. And that should be enough. We shouldn't come with our list of weakness, with our list of imperfection, with our list of why not, why we shouldn't do or we shouldn't be here. It's not about the past. It's not about our experience. It's not about our failures. It's not about our lack. It's more about God is saying, okay, in spite of what you don't have, in spite of what you don't know, in spite of who you are or who you've been or where you've been and what you've done, I'm calling you. I've chosen you. And I want to use you as my instrument. I want you to see yourself, not the way you've always perceived yourself, but I want you to know that today I've chosen to come, just like he told Zacchaeus. Today I'm coming to your house. That's really what God is saying. He said, today I'm coming to you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming to your house. And there are things that are inside of you that I'm going to bring forward. Those things maybe that you don't even know how to use, or the things that you don't value, the things that you haven't, like mastered yet. Let me show you how to use them. Let me show you why I placed them inside of you, because you thought they were a hindrance, but I placed them, oh, Ramandele Bosia. I've placed them so that I can use them for other people. I can use them for my glory. It's really what God is telling us. It's really what is saying. He said all these things that you thought were a deficit or were maybe something that the world will look at as weak. God is calling those things out. He's calling them forward, and He wants to show you how to use them. He wants to show you how deep you run. He wants to show you even how deep His love for you runs and the things that He will do. So basically, it's for us to understand that we are vessels. We instruments that God needs. He doesn't need what you know. He doesn't need your knowledge because He's omniscient. He already has the knowledge of the world, more than the knowledge of this world and more than the wisdom of this world. All He needs basically and all He's asking is, are you going to be available for me so that I can I can pour some of my knowledge, some of my wisdom, some of my love for other people to see, and even you will also be a benefactor. Are you willing to make room for my spirit to dwell inside of you and to perform miracles? God is not asking us to do miracles on our own because He said, in my name, you will do those things. You will cast out demons. You will heal the sick. Everything that we call to do, we call to do in the name of the Lord. He never called us to do it in our own name because He knows how far our names can go. And no disrespect, but He knows that without His name, we have no reputation. We have no name. We have no abilities. Everything that we have, even the things that we think we can do and we do so well, we have to understand that we can only do them because of God. We can only do what He calls us to do and even beyond because of Him, because of His Spirit, because of the gifts that He placed inside of us, because of the seeds that He planted inside of us. So until we realize that, we will always feel inadequate. We will always feel like, no, it's not for me. God can do that with other people, but not me. And we'll always walk around feeling defeated or insufficient. We will never rise up to the level that God is calling us. And that level is not even for us to perform. It's not like when you go to school and you get a test or the exam and it's based on what you know. With God, it's totally different. He's not calling us based on what we know. He's calling us based on our availability or our willingness to be taught, to be used. That's all He requires. Are you just going to be available? Will you be willing to go where I take you, to say what I need you to say? Because when we look even with Moses and Jeremiah and even Joshua, the Lord told them, I put my words in your mouth. And with all the servants, even the prophets of God and even the servants of God throughout the Bible, whether it be women or men, it wasn't what they knew or what they could do. It's what God deposited in them. That they were willing to host, they were willing to share, they were willing to show. It was really that even the testimony, when we talk about the Samaritan woman, it wasn't what she did. She was giving praise, to the Lord. She was even sharing a testimony based on what Jesus did for her. It wasn't what she did because she was probably ashamed of what she did, but it was what Jesus did. So today the question is, are you going to be willing to be used by God? Are you willing to put down all those insecurities and all those weaknesses and all those, no, I can't, not me, I'm not ready? Because God is telling you, you're ready for this. You're already equipped for this. I call you so that you can see who you are destined to be. I call you not so that you can perform for me, but so that I can perform through you. It's not about what you can do. It's what about I can do with a human vessel, with a willing vessel, with someone who makes themselves available. It's really a season of discovery. And for my personal testimony, I know that as I do the things that God has called me to do, even the things that I was fighting, because I thought just like all of us, and even I'm telling you, but I was there not long ago. When God called me to do certain things, there are things that were easy. It was kind of in my comfort zone. Maybe I thought I did, or I didn't see the depth of the call. So I said yes, and it's only later I realized what it was entailing, what it required, but I was already in. But there were other things that from the get-go, when God called, I said, no, I can't do that. That's not me. And I found myself enjoying those things more than the things that I would have chosen for myself. There are things that I had to let go of. And I thought, oh my God, I'm saying goodbye to my dreams. I'm saying goodbye to my, to my plan and to the things that I've always wanted to do and I've always wanted to be. And to realize that the things that God has called me to do, what He's calling me to do, are, are greater and the better. It's like you discover yourself. And I feel like the Lord is really, it's really even a call to grow, because in that process, we're discovering who we are in Him. We're discovering so many levels and facets and aspects of who God is that we just rejoice. We just enjoy it, and we see something that we've never seen before, things that we never even thought were there. And I think that's really what we need to see, that when God calls, it's an invitation for us, an opportunity to go on an adventure, to discover something new. And we have the guarantee, the assurance that His presence will be with us, because when He says, I will put my words in your mouth, I will be with you. He said the same thing to Joshua. I will be with you. Do not be afraid. I will be with you. To everyone that God called, He assured them of His presence. He assured them of His goodness and His faithfulness, that He will never leave them. He will never forsake them. And that's what God is telling you today. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. When I call you to do this, to open this business, to launch this website, or to launch this book, or, to run into politics, or to, apply to this job, or to let go of this, or to stay at home, to be a stay-home mom, or stay-at-home mom, whatever God is calling you to do. It's not based on your abilities. It's not based, and it's not even like a demotion. Sometimes it may feel like we're letting so many things behind. We're leaving so many things behind. We're letting go of so much. But in the end, we gain so much more. And we can see it played out throughout the scriptures. Whether it be with the disciples, they left their business. Some of them were fishermen, successful fishermen. They had jobs, they had profession that they had to let go of to embrace the call of God. And they probably didn't feel qualified. They felt like it was a new field. It was something that was not familiar. But entering those unfamiliar territories, uncharted territories, they found something so much better. And they didn't even have to rely on their own strength. They had to rely on God's strength. They had to use His resource, his knowledge, His wisdom, His favor, His grace, and all these different things. I can go on, but that's not the point today. All I want to encourage you today, that whatever God is asking you to do, whatever you feel the Holy Spirit is pressing on your heart, nudging you and asking you, do this. Will you do that for me? Will you come forward? I'm sending you in this arena. I'm sending you into these fields of influence. And you say, no, this is not for me, or I have no interest, or I'm not good at it. Or you look at other people like they have it, they can do it. But God is saying, you don't know what I'm able to do within you. You don't know if only you will leave room, you will make room for me, for my spirit to work, for my spirit to be displayed. Then I will perform wonders. I will perform exploits. And I think we've declared that this is a season of miracles. This is a season of exploits. But how can it be truly a season of miracles and exploits for the world to see the goodness and the greatness and the power of God if there are no vessels willing to be used? So God is just calling you. He's not even calling you to come to Him full. He's calling you to come empty, just like when the prophet went to the widow of Zarephath and he said, what do you have in your house? And she had oil. He's like, okay, you have oil now. I need empty vessels. So go to your neighbors and borrow all the empty vessels that you can get. So God is asking you, come as you are. Just be as empty. You can be like, oh my God, Lord, I have no strength. I have no knowledge. I have no power. I have no status. I have no followers. I have nothing. And He said, exactly, that's what I need. I need you to be empty so that I can fill you. I need you to be willing so that I can lead you. I need you to be obedient so that I can show you. I can display my splendor through you. So I'm praying today for you that whatever God has asked you, whatever God is pulling you out of you, whatever is telling you in this hour, that you will just say, yes, here am I, Lord. Use me, send me. So that's my prayer today. Be encouraged in the Lord. I will talk to you next week. Stay blessed.
Thank you for listening to Swords, Spears, and Arrows with Camille Babin. If you would like to find out more, check our website, www.havilasolutions.com, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Havila Solutions.